called me. He was the one who called.
Uh,
So, greetings, everyone, and welcome to another Sunday at the round table. Since we last gathered and reason, a lot has happened in Jamaica. The biggest of which is the Vybz Kartel situation. Vybz Kartel, as you know, is a very influential brethren. The young people love him. And now the court in England ruled that the case against him should be squashed and he's no longer a convicted man. It raised some very interesting question in my head, because this brethren Vybz Kartel, despite his talent and singing, that man he has done for Chris, impact communities and a lot of shit. You understand? What is clear is he's now a problem for someone. Because if you listen to the case and how they went about it, you know that there are forces in the Jamaican society that wants to get rid of him. They don't accept his style. They see him as being linked into criminal activities and what have you. So he's now a problem for someone who I'm not sure. Why Vybz Kartel? Well, the words within the industry and on the street is that he's very talented, very creative. And certainly when you listen to some of him song, very creative, you know. But who are his supporters? Who's behind Vybz Kartel? Another truth is it take money to go to the Privy Council. Take
That's an
money.
understatement.
So who's behind Vybz Kartel, and when him come out, how we gonna pay back all of those folks? Another issue to raise this trial is jury tampering. Eh? Vybz Kartel was able to get around the wall that protect courts and in that civil court and get into the jury room. And it's not one time, because it appeared that when you look at the transcript, it appeared that there was at least three occasions in which attempts were made to tamper with the jury. So some big players involved. Another question to raise in my head is whether or not we can rely on the local courts to get justice, or it's important to keep the Privy Council, despite what the lawyers are saying that we must move to a Caribbean court. Does this verdict undermine that argument? A Caribbean court, or better for us to go to the Privy Council? I invite Valerie to sort of help me answer those questions. I'm still waiting to hear from her, but I'm interested in hearing from the brethren them and the listeners. What does this verdict represent when it comes to law and order within the Jamaican space? I want to open it up. Maxine, you're on the ground in Jamaica. What's the feedback on the ground to the verdict coming out of London?
Well, certainly, Vybz Kartel has achieved what we call folk hero status, based on his provocative lyrics and his what they describe as his mischievous public persona. So he mastered that, or he integrated that into his character. A lot of artists in the world, they develop a character separate apart from their personal self, almost like an actor or like you'd say Snoop Dogg, who we're familiar with, but his name is Calvin Brodus. But his character that he performs under is Snoop Dogg. And if you check it, Snoop Dogg is a different person from Calvin Brodus, I'm just telling you that those personality differences occurs in the entertainment and or creative industry. And some people, their personal life and their character merges. Some people is different. But certainly Vybz Kartel has created a character that is synonymous with the inner city culture. We're used to dons and being celebrated as the heroes of communities based on how they can control resources. A lot of times those resources come from not legitimate businesses, but informal hustlers, So, and then I think also he took on this bleaching, like certain aspects that the community was trending towards. He elevated it to a great degree, very negative, but still, he just developed this larger than life personality. I think lyrically or creatively, he was accepted as a good lyricist, and but always I remember there's a show that he did that really brought his becoming notorious was his performance on a Sting concert where him and Ninja Man clashed and there was a fight. Right. And he's just had this. It would remind me of the Wild Wild West. A lot of things that we do here in Jamaica. It's like the Wild West, and you have to be a Jesse James, or you have to be a character to make it. So in that Wild Wild West world of Jamaica, he came out being championed as a folk hero. So, in that situation, they have a lot of, as you say, in the inner city, a lot of jungle justice, where these people are in a community or they're trading on things that they apply their justice to, and so his story to me, it comes in like one of those, like I said, wild westerns, and he's a Jesse James, and eventually you get caught up with the who is that goes after them again, the sheriffs, the sheriffs
Bounty hunter.
The bounty hunters are the sheriffs,
Yes.
go after them. So, but somewhat with his case, I don't know. His case was, as Mikey said, it involved a lot of money, because a lot of money was being made around Vybz Kartel. He had some international business people that were investing in him. I think at one point in time, I think he was launching a rum, Vybz rum. I forgot who the person's name, but American, international business people were involved with him. I'm sure the record companies, he was doing quite well, and he'll still be doing quite well in the in the, making money out of royalties, etc. I'm not sure, but I do know that while he was away in prison, his music was still of note, and he has done collaborations with some of the major international hip hop artists. It was rumored that possibly even Busta Rhymes. I went somewhere about 2 days ago, and they were saying to me that Busta Rhymes was someone that was assisting him in his case. So I imagine that there are several business people and or international people that um, could be aligned with supporting him, practically. And the case as how it went in, it was interesting because a lot of the jury tampering that eventually the Privy Council judged on was tampering, it seemed, to get him out. You know what I mean? So it's interesting that it would flip, you know, on that coin. Uh, I know that the lawyers went to the Privy Council with other issues, I think, with regards to the, I think it's the phone recordings
Yeah.
that he said weren't, should not have been allowed in because of privacy or
Breaches privacy. Yeah.
breach of privacy, but the Privy Council did not rule on that.
Yes, Judge.
Then they sent it back for retrial, as I understand it,
Yes, yeah.
to the Court
Still,
of Appeals. And so the discussion now is about what is the Court of Appeals going to do based on the fact that the conviction is squashed and the retrial dynamics of the retrial requiring jury, the type of jury that they could command, whether the witnesses are still there, whether evidence has been degraded or, all of that. And the last thing I heard was some mention of maybe him and his cohorts being charged a lesser crime or lesser charge that would be equal to time spent, meaning he's been in there 10 or 13 years. I'm not quite sure, but 10 years. And so potentially, all kind of theories are being put forward in relation to his this court thing. I know the court is all about technicalities. A lot of times you can be wrong, but you get off because something was not done technically correct. So
Correct.
I don't think it's so much a judgment now on the actual issue of the case of the guy who got killed. I think that was the Lizard, or his name. It's more now technicalities surrounding the charges and the court system, ability to overcome those technicalities. There's the issue of him getting bail. I don't know. It's kind of tricky how they can keep him in while they debate all of this. And certainly, I would expect that once he's gotten bail, he'll be performing and, his whole stature is going to go up further, based on, I don't know if he became a Christian or anything in jail. A lot of times when they go to jail, persons can reflect on, on their life. I don't know if he's going to come out, a changed person. Not sure. You
Patrick.
can only hope.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish what you're saying, Maxine. Finish. Sorry about that.
No, I'm pretty much like you. I was looking forward to reasoning with Miss Neita, to understand more the technical, technical issues around the case, because really it's technicalities now.
The legal issues.
The legal issues in relation to all of that, and then, then we can figure out the other stuff. Based on
Patrick, one listening to the radio and the newspaper and all that, the commentary, one would say that this is another nail in the coffin of the system. Because they spend a lot to put away this youth, but it demonstrates that money. Once you have money, you can take on the system. Would you agree with that?
Well, there's two things to it, really. One is, again, you have heard me make this point time and time again, that we cannot talk about crime without looking at the culture and the system under which we live, right? Because the system dictates the culture, and the system itself, right, is the big formulation for crime, because they determine what crime is, right, and they create criminals. Definitely, like you said, it is a big telltale, because for that very reason. In terms of the money aspect, I don't know if you can have enough money to really take on a system. Right, that is one thing. Right, so it always comes down to more than money. It's more a matter of understanding the system well enough to know how to beat them at their own game. Right, because that to me is really a big factor. I mean, from my own experience, I've taken on situations, with the courts and so on, right, and effortlessly beat them on it, because of the fact that, I understand way more than the average, right, in dealing with them, and I've used that, and I've seen cases over and over where it is used, where, it becomes beneficial to the subject or the client.
What about jury tampering?
Jury tampering is something which will always happen, right? Because again, it's a flawed system. Flawed system allow for all that kind of thing to happen, right? Jury tampering through intimidation or otherwise, outright illegal acts is something that is commonplace, even here in the US, right? And is not something that can be negated, right? But usually that happens again because they play on the ignorance of people.
Last, let me hear your take on this.
Well, what Maxine introduction really put the thing in perspective, in that here you have a guy who is popular in the cultural space, him garner a certain amount of respect among a certain section of the population, right? In the inner cities and outside of the inner cities, because he's popular all around as a musical personality. And because of his popularity, his fans and a lot of people who want to attach themselves to Vybz Kartel refuse to hold Vybz Kartel responsible for what has happened to Vybz Kartel. A lot of these people seem to want to blame everybody else for what happened to Vybz Kartel other than Vybz Kartel. And because of that, you have a whole heap of conspiracy theories as to why Vybz Kartel found himself in jail. If you notice, hardly apart from in the courts, there's hardly any talk on the street about Lizard. There's hardly any talk in the street about Vybz Kartel being involved in any form of criminality. The only talk you hear amongst the people who support Vybz Kartel is that the system is out to get him. That's a lie. I don't think the system is out to get Vybz Kartel. Right? I think the situations of Vybz Kartel get himself in, right? And his own personality is out to get him. And that is my view of the system. I know everybody out there talking about, boy, they want to put Vybz Kartel, they want to get rid of Vybz Kartel because of this, they want to get rid of him because of that. But Vybz Kartel get himself in a certain situation. What is instrumental in the system is that we know about the corruption that exists in Jamaica, in government, in the private sector, in the police, and it is bringing to our attention, say, it is there in the courts. It is highlighting the fact that it is there in the courts. I read the judgment of the Privy Council, right? And they mentioned about the jury tampering. They did not rule on the jury tampering because it was not one of the issues that they were supposed to rule on, but it was mentioned in the judgment that during the process, the court process, you had a member of Kartel's defense team who was seen conversing with a juror, right? That came up before the courts. The judge had to, it was reported to the judge, and the judge had to deal with that. But how the judge deal with it? It seemed like the thing was just brushed off because probably the judge fee said, no, whatever the lawyer tell the judge, I forgot the term that the lawyer used, like it was it's just a passing encounter. How can you dismiss a member of a defense team conversing with a juror and you think, say, it is a passing encounter and leave it at that? And it turned out that the same juror that the member of the defense team was talking to is the juror in question who was trying to bribe everybody else. In my view, that don't give confidence to the courts in Jamaica and to those judges. It don't look like, say, in the administration of justice in Jamaica, them take certain things seriously. For me, as long as there's a possibility that something could go wrong with a conversation between a juror and a defense lawyer, at that point, something should have been done to correct that process, and it was allowed to slide. So when it came up that this same juror who was conversing with a member of the defense team as the problem juror, when Jamaica and when the world looks at that, it doesn't say much for the Jamaican courts, right? And the next thing that coming out of this trial is that Maxine said the man status now is like a folk hero. He was a popular guy before, now he's like a folk hero. Because that is how criminality works. When criminals become successful and beat case and do this and do that, them status rise. That's how it go. And it depends on the court. The courts, they need to be prepared to do things in the right way in order that these things don't happen. You can't have a court that the police access information incorrectly and the court look at it and say, boy, let's go ahead. Even though this thing was accessed improperly, let's go ahead with it. Right? It is going to come back to haunt the system, and it is going to erode confidence in the courts. Right? And as Mike said, and I believe, when it comes to the whole issue, we're talking about the symbolism of getting rid of the Privy Council because of white people court and whatever. But that is a symbolism that when you weigh that symbolism against the reality of the dispensing of justice in a Jamaica, it best you keep the symbolism and ensure that justice is done, right? And that is a problem for me in terms of the Caribbean Court of Justice. If we have a symbolism where we are uncomfortable with, but it is giving us justice and it is examining the legal framework in details, because what it is showing us is that our judiciary, them not going through the law with a fine-tooth comb, them overlooking, them jumping over some of the steps that they should be taking in ensuring that human rights and personal freedoms and those things are acknowledged in these cases. Because a lot of the cases that get thrown out by the Privy Council are around the issues of personal freedoms and human rights, right? Or our courts, how sensitive our courts are to human rights. When you look at the Pratt and Morgan case, right, the same thing arises because our courts don't give sufficient concern to people's human rights. Them, no matter you spend 30 years behind bars before a trial, or 30 years behind bars before you get your death sentence, the culture in our courts seems to be one that overlook all of those human rights issues and personal freedom issues, right? So when it comes to people now looking at the Caribbean Court of Justice, a lot of people gonna have questions. Will the Caribbean Court of Justice be different from how the Jamaican judiciary has been performing when it comes to human rights and personal freedoms? And it will forever be a concern, and it will be a big political issue to get people to buy into the Caribbean Court of Justice if this kind of attitude continues. That's my initial response.
John, based on what is said so far, it seems like this raised the Jamaican people consciousness about the system, the criminal justice system. They are more aware.
Well, let me say this. I mean, I'm not close to the ground, nor am I close to Vybz Kartel. But in my view, no matter who the law, let's put it this way, no matter who a man or a woman is, they have the right to justice under the law. I can only give my personal experience. When I was a teacher with the NUDT, we had several cases where a teacher was brought before the education tribunal to be terminated for molesting children in the school. And as the General Secretary of the Union, we did not support any teacher who molest the kids, who molest the girl children, or any principal who molests a teacher. However, there were instances where the rule, for example, the right of being able to defend yourself before the board of the school or before the tribunal of the ministry was breached outright by a principal or a school board. What that did was, in effect, get the person off, because the procedure for that trial was disregarded. My understanding of this case with Vybz Kartel is a similar thing has happened where the Privy Council in England has taken a decision that to squash the case based on the fact that certain standard procedures were not properly followed under the Jamaican system. And what Lass is saying, and which I agree with, it's unfortunate that there are hundreds of youths who have been locked up in Jamaica without the right to appeal to a Privy Council because they don't have the money. Because the police can just go plant gun on you, or plant gun in your car, plant something against you in your house, and you get locked up. It's not a secret that if the system, quote unquote, is against you, it's easy. It's just like in the days when, I was going to say in the days when Rasta used to smoke herb, but Rasta still smoke herb. But in the days when herb was like the worst thing in the world. When them radio house or your area or your yard, what them plant on you is not gun, but herbs. And you're gone to prison. My point is that until Jamaica can establish a justice system where you can expect a fair trial before your peers, not before people who is JLP and you're a PNP, or before people who is PNP because you're a JLP, or because it's Barled against Rasta. We have to have a system of government, of jurisprudence in Jamaica, which allow for proper trial. We don't have it. People do not believe. This is not a secret. People do not have confidence in the court system in Jamaica because we know of so many cases of where it's not done according to the law. So we can find any number of instances And I want to make one disagreement with Patrick. Understanding the system in order to beat it at their own game come from the more money you have, the better your ability to do that. That's all that this is saying. A man who go to prison for 10 years for a crime, whether or not he committed it, and then it goes outside of Jamaica to the Privy Council, and the case is squashed. What it is doing is saying that our court system is not up to scratch. So I am in favor of getting rid of the Privy Council, but we cannot do that until we have a legal system which ensures that there is justice for all, regardless of your income, your status, where you live, whether you have locks or you don't have locks. So that is how that goes. To me, the right to a decent welcome, brethren, Leroy, whether you have a right to a decent hearing cannot be based on whether you smoke ganja or you don't smoke ganja, or your popularity amongst the people, or any of that nature. We must have a system that allows for justice before the law, and that system, we cannot have a system until we get rid of the corruption. I think the point that was made by Rattigan last week is that there is absolutely no confidence in the police system. In other words, that one of the weaknesses in the case is the fact that the police system of determining doing the necessary due diligence to arrest somebody is found wanting in Jamaica. And from when I was a youth, I was a teacher in Trenchtown. That's been the call. So that is basically my take on it. It doesn't change my view about the importance of about the value of the Privy Council. It just makes it more urgent to establish a system that allows for people to be able to get a fair trial.
On that note, I want to welcome the Rastaman. The Rastaman out of the farm. It's a long time. Oh, he's not here, but the Rastaman is getting his act together. He's going to join us. A brother man, a long time observer of all things Rastafari in and outside of Jamaica. Brother Leroy. Yes.
What happened to the lawyer? Is the lawyer coming?
I'm still waiting to hear from her. She says she's taking care of some business. But I think that's someone here. Okay. Yes, Ross.
Big up, Dad. Big up.
Yeah, bless.
Ross.
Yeah, man. Bless.
Can you hear us? Yeah, man.
Yeah, may
yes,
I hear?
Ross.
May I hear? May I hear on a liquor still, but not that clear. I want to yell up the man them still, you know?
Yeah, man. Big up.
Last
And
John,
one
Neita.
woman is here. One woman is here. Yell her up too. She named Maxine.
maybe from my side, but my mic not like it so clear, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
hear
I
you, man.
hear
I
you,
hear you.
but
We
it's
hear you.
in and out.
Ross, we are talking about Vybz Kartel and the verdict could come out
Yeah.
England. And one of the question is whether or not this is a consciousness raising act. You know, Jamaican people have become aware, more conscious of the system as one way they can't get any justice. They have to look outside of themselves, look to some white man in England to get
I
justice.
lost him. While we're waiting, oh, here's back.
Neita,
Yes,
me hear
the
ya.
question, you know.
Go ahead, my brother.
Go ahead, Ross. Yeah, is it a consciousness raising act when people now realize that, why, to get justice, we have to look to some white men in London? What's your thinking on it? The Vybz Kartel situation.
Yeah, me think me kind of understand what you say. It's a chip in and a chip out. But me open a ear what me I say. Vice Cartel. My view upon it is that it I got harder now to prove to the Jamaican people that you can't get rid of the Privy Council. You know, because the whole justice system of Jamaica operate in such a way that the people them are gonna have more faith in the whole thing about another jurisdiction or another point of going to for justice. You can remember say the whole thing of Jamaica about getting rid of the Queen part on our side, most people were progressive say, boy, 60 odd years and we not get rid of the Queen yet. And that kind of embarrassment to us as nationalists, Jamaican, we say, well, Jamaica independent, it's rare, you know, but the verdict, me think, I will make that even more difficult. Why? Because of the justice system of Jamaica. It's still based on who knows who. You know, who how you line up, you know. Cartel might have money, but then again, cartel come from below half a tree. So the system view him always different from that, you know. And not because him a no murder, him no want to be the big Dan world boss, blah, blah, blah. But if you have the right connection, that wouldn't be a problem to you in Jamaica. You know, see. They want to bring it and go to that level to try get rid of him because regardless of where you say him touch some of this system in terms of them money and them influence where them have on the whole Jamaican people. That's my view upon it. That's why them go at cartel like that. Because cartel killing one of them cronies and nothing to them, you know. Where what cartel thing is to them is that first, the whole dancehall thing, economically money thing, cartel challenge that. We challenge them biggest dancehall show Sting. You know, and when cartel challenge that again is that you challenge the leng them. You know? And them know same dirty, them know all the things where them do. Because them are Jamaican cops, the whole of them corrupt and them thing there. But that wouldn't be them problem unless cartel a challenge that. Cartel go like Sting the year when him to go and Sting never flop that year there. You know, see this come up. And again too, economically again, even the rum thing. The cartel have the youth them a drink beer rum and I got produce him own rum. That challenge here and rebel stuff, you know. So me think say that are the thing where them go at cartel for. And them that do anything like where them do, cook up any evidence. And I give him 30 odd years, based on the whole challenge where him challenge them system. That are just my basic thing on it, you know.
Any feedback? Any
Yeah, I
feedback?
think the justice system in Jamaica, I think one of the international judges that because yes, the Jamaican judges worked with some not judges, international lawyers in going to the Privy Council. They describe the fact that the Jamaican system is such a small system where every lawyer know every judge, every law, you know, like they were saying, like it's like a fishbowl. So the inclination for the corruption or you know all of this is very high in Jamaica simply because of its size. And also, I think the justice system in Jamaica, like the education system, it needs money, money that the country economically doesn't have to put in these things. So when the Caribbean, Jamaica, etc., is going to England for reparations, or you say you're gonna go and get rid of the Queen and get rid of all of these trappings, how is the economic situation that you are left in because of their our association as a colony? How can it be separated? Because you want to separate from the Privy Council system, and your justice system is heavily flawed because it doesn't have an economy. It itself, outside of the people being poor. If you hear about how the actual court reporters, how the files, how the you know it takes 6 years to adjudicate you know a business issue. If you look at the estates, these are not criminal corruption issues. These are issues that the infrastructure cannot deal with the just basic justice that is required. So it's still fundamentally, as you know, talk about getting rid of the Privy Council and all of these things. Where is the money when you're getting rid of the Queen and all these negotiations to de-link? It is just showing to me that you cannot de-link politically. That's what we did in 1962 and found ourselves with an economy that cannot support the development of a country. So yes, the justice system is flawed, and it's flawed not only because we as the people who are engaged in it have no resources. It's more flawed because the justice system itself is under resourced. Just like the education system, we might say we want more this, more that, but how much of the budget is going to these areas, or how much, where's the budget? I mean, do we have a budget? And is this why the judges have so much discretion? I'm before the court myself on some estate issues. And that's what I'm coming upon, like, oh, the judge has a huge discretionary role that even after everything has been laid out, he can look at some areas and say, well, boy, you know, let me put my personal view on this, because he knows that the justice system, he himself knows that the justice system is flawed, you know, and it weighs on him. I don't think it's only corruption that is weighing on these judges.
Administration.
You know,
Yeah,
something else, you know, is playing.
But let me
just
ask you.
a point, if I could answer something that Maxine raised, because one of our guests raised this point about whether or not it was wrong to go independence in '62. We can go to Singapore. Singapore and us got independence the exact same time. When I was at university as a youth,
down.
we used to compare Singapore with Jamaica. and we can compare the justice system, the education system, the economy. There is like day and night between what Singapore has done and where Singapore is compared to where Jamaica is. We're not even at the top in the Caribbean when it comes to economic growth, economic development, education. And the reason is not because we went independent. The reason is that we have inherited, or it was thrust upon us, a very heavy price in the political system that came along with that independence. Because it's not for lack of education. We have more lawyers than most other Caribbean countries. We have more lawyers. We have more big name lawyer, world level lawyer. Man that can go and work with the ICJ, the International Criminal Court. That them go before now to prosecute Israel. Right? We have Jamaicans serve on it. And some of them are on Facebook or other website, LinkedIn and so on, that I read about and know about and connect with at one time. So it's not the idea that I agree, it's a setback for a case to go to Privy Council and show that the Jamaican court system is flawed. But does that mean that we shouldn't go? We shouldn't create our own court? All I'm saying is, before we can get rid of these things, we have to clean our own house. We have to clean our house. We have to get rid of all the things that we're familiar with the legal system. I mean, I can't answer what Maxine said about the judge discretion, because I have a case too to do with real estate, and it's the same thing I'm encountering, where there's a lot of discretion in the Supreme Court. The judge should come this week and say this. Next week we need something else. So today you find this, next week you have to bring something else, and so on. A lot also depend on the level of the quality of the attorney. But I don't fall back. Eh?
And who you know. And who you know.
Yeah, well, yes, but I don't know.
Or better yet, who know you?
Who know me?
Yeah.
So that might rub two way. Who know me. So all I'm saying is it really, it's true. It's a challenge, but I would be very interested to hear what the attorney that we invited has to say. And I'm sorry that we don't have Rattigan on the show today, because he also gave some insight last week regarding the nature of some of the challenges in the court system with the police, how the police do their work.
Well, I have two questions, and the question somebody think here in echo. Well, the two questions I have is, one was, did he receive a fair trial? Second question, was justice served? Was justice served?
Mikey, it's clear that the trial wasn't fair, because if you have the fact that the Privy Council ruled
squash the case, and the areas that the defense lawyers
asked the Privy Council to rule, and they ruled on them and ruled in favor of the defense. So it was clear that the trial wasn't fair. What happened with cases like these, is that when you have high-profile cases like these, it is a consciousness-raising experience for all of the people across the country, because one, the fact that Vybz Kartel is not just a national figure, is known internationally. People tune in to want to know what is happening with this case, right? So a lot more people will follow along and learn the process. There are people in Jamaica, who still believe that there's no corruption in the judiciary, right? And that judiciary is always fair, and the Jamaican judiciary is so good. There are people in Jamaica who think that judiciary is the only safe space and fair space in Jamaica.
That based on them have the Privy Council backing up on it.
Yeah.
Them confident in it is based that them know say them have a Privy Council backing up on it.
Yes, but outside of that, Dad, you still have people. You still have people who feel like, say, boy, once you go to court in Jamaica,
and them find you're guilty, you're guilty.
You're guilty.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get justice from the courts eventually. That's how still people. And this case squash, just squash the thing against Kartel, but it squash some of those ideas that these people have about justice. Because when a lot of us who've been experiencing injustice in Jamaica for years and years, and against our political freedom, against our civil liberties inside of the countries, a lot of people feel say, oh, them are some little wayward youth, them are some bad boy, them are murderer, them are this, them are that. And them not pay attention because them have a certain way of thinking already about us and about the courts. So when these things happen, when you have somebody where the people love, when you have somebody where the people look up to and them involved in cases like these, and the outcome is like it is, it raises the consciousness of some people. So it's not all negative, right? The thing where I don't buy into, though, that is that me not buy the thing that the system out forget Vybz Kartel. Me not buy that part of it, right? Me think when you look on it, he was not being tried for anything where Leng say him do or not say him do, or he wasn't being tried for challenging them economic system. He was being tried for murder, right? And some of the things that condemn Vybz Kartel was his own documentation of whatever he did. Some of those documentation and whatever was arrived at through breaching his privacy, right?
And
that's where the problem come in, because as you would know, if Vybz Kartel was from a different social standing, they probably would not breach his privacy. I can recall just a couple months ago, there's a case of some bigwig name people who say man murder them kid in Jamaica, right? And just to get them phone, it took them months and months. I don't know if you remember that case, that where the woman said she had drive.
Yeah.
and
think I vaguely remember, yeah.
a man stop her and murder a kid. And it took them months before them could even get the phone from nobody.
Last, just one thing last. May I ask you just one question?
Yeah.
You think Vybz Kartel have enough money to bribe them police there in a Jamaica where bring the case against him for kill him friend?
If him have enough money to bribe them?
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
A Jamaica we are talking about, you know.
of
Who you
course.
think him kill? You think him kill? Who you think them accuse him of killing? And I'm an outstanding member of society.
But look for what happened before it even reach the courts. You know, see some cop are using phone. You think that was
no, but
coincidental?
the main thing is that.
But what are we really talking about though? Because last, you can't be saying two things. You're talking about the system dealing with Vybz Kartel, right? And at the same time, you're saying that Vybz Kartel charges were based on his own actions.
But
hold on. What I'm saying is, right? If it got all the way to the Privy Council and the Privy Council rule against the handling of the case in the lower courts, right? Means that, you know, on the basis of the evidence, right? That's not what took the matter to the Privy Council. It's based on faulty trial procedure, right? And findings that really took it to the Privy Council. That's one. Secondly, right, in terms of it getting to the Privy Council, right? We keep harping on the whole point about money and all that, right? Yet nobody is explaining how the money plays a role in it going before the Privy Council, because now the Privy Council operates in a way which is unlike the way it was before, where you had to pay all of that cost to go to England and deal with the case and all of that. You can't stay in Jamaica and deal with your case now, right? Because of what you call it? Zoom and you know, platforms like that, right? You can actually stay home and deal with the court system, right? So where's the money influence in all of that?
So you have to hire English lawyers.
It really comes down to the legality, right? And the handling of case. Yeah, there are many cases where people spend enormous amount of money with lawyers, and they still end up, right? They still end up not being handled properly, legally.
Patrick, can I respond to you?
Yeah, sure.
The thing about what I'm saying, I'm not talking from two sides of my mouth. There are two things at play here, Patrick. One, the thing is, whatever we can say Vybz Kartel is guilty of and is responsible for, there's also a system out there that is independent of him. We are treating him differently from certain other people, right? I tell you the issue when it comes to breaching in privacy. The case against these people, right? Who said that this lady who said that her kid was killed by someone who take away her car and blah blah blah, because I just the name factor of those people. The police did not run into them and take them phone. They were not cooperating with the police for months and months and months. And we did not see the police breach or the courts breach them privacy by running in on them and take them phone and take the matter before the courts based on them phone. Right now, and in that case, we don't even know where it is because it is not even in the news anymore.
Okay, so we're talking about something we don't know about.
Right? What do you mean
no,
by? What do you
privilege.
mean? What do you
No,
mean we're
you just
talking
said
about?
it. You just said it. We know absolutely nothing that's going on with that case. But back to the Vybz Cartel case, right?
Mm.
What do we know? We know that the way in which the trial was conducted in the lower courts, right? It was not done on the basis of evidence, and which is obviously why it was overturned, right? At the level of the appeal court in England, the Privy Council.
Patrick, it was done on the basis of evidence. The problem is how them get that evidence, right? A lot of the evidence that they had was from his phone and from phone Sean's
It all means the same thing, though. It all means
No.
the
It's the
same
same
thing.
thing. It's the
It's not
same
the
thing,
same thing,
lass.
Patrick. It's not
No,
the
it
same
means
thing.
the
Yeah,
same
we're
thing.
splitting ears. We're
It's
splitting
not the
ears,
same thing.
gentlemen. What they're
Yes.
saying is that the procedure, whether he committed the murder or not, is immaterial.
Mhm.
What the court ruled about is the fact that the case was improperly tried.
Handled.
They
Exactly.
breached the procedure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
Breach
all
the
stuff.
OJ Simpson
We don't have
again.
to be. We're
OJ
not
Simpson.
spending time beating a dead horse.
go ahead.
No,
Question.
last.
Yo,
Sorry, excuse me, last. The whole thing, may I say, you have to look on context of the case, you know.
yeah.
Context of the case is that Vybz Cartel is in a friction with the dancehall industry. We're bigger than you would think. Because Sting are the biggest dancehall show in Jamaica, you know. And Vybz Cartel threatened that. The year when Vybz Cartel don't go Sting, him try keep film little thing somewhere up in New Kingston. In defiance, Aleng and Sting that said night, the police shut it down. You know, the police come and shut it down. And then from that, the whole thing start moving here. So, well, them hold him for this and them hold him for that. That's a thing where them have fun him all the while, you know. And them have to make it stick now. So that's the context for me say, is not say the whole political system want to get rid of him. Because that's why going to Jamaica. Most things is parochial. The judge them are friend and them and friend. The police them and them friend and the you know, it's a whole parochial system where them have in a Jamaica. So who knows who? And them say you have to stop him there. So he might mash up this white boy where I support laying on the money. And then the rum thing where me say, so me only want reinstate, me say you have to put it in a context. And then politically it might have other implication too. Because politically we see where you have a big gang trial for some brutal guy in a Jamaica, clansman, as what them say, based on them new laws and whatever. My sister Maxine might know more about that, but you don't see that equivalent in any other, like say JLP gunman, like you don't have no gang amongst them. That's you can bring a police. So politically it all plays in the whole Jamaica context. You know, so it's like him and my hero, most people in Jamaica, me think say, well, beside the youth, them say, boy, him guilty. So him face the time. That's most people, big respectable people then, opinion that the thing is. But the reality is that this is not how the colonialists left the system to work. You know, the system that work based on where these like most African countries are the same thing. The jurisdiction where the Englishman left with it. Either you have a coup or you turn a dictator. But in a Jamaica, that's the good thing. That part of the jurisdiction is still hold. That's why cartel free, because the whole system and a set for running it run. And without cartel case, as we said last, it will highlight that thing there. I think that is a good thing.
But also the fact of the matter is that what we call independence is not independence.
Interdependent.
Right? We are more.
Also-
We prior to 1962, right? We were less dependent on the colonialists than we are right now. Right? Right now we are more dependent on them. That is really what goes to the issue of the Privy Council in England. Because what it is saying is that the head of our court, the last stage, right, that can decide everything, right, happens in England. That's what it is saying. It is saying that we are incapable of handling our own judicial matters. That's what it
You
is
have a
saying.
Governor General of King's House still. You have a
It's
Governor General of
the
King's
Governor
House still,
General.
you
The
know?
Governor General is a representation of the Crown in England.
I think also that the fact that he's a popular musician, as I'm listening to the commentary, and you know, we just had the One Love movie, you know, going through the issue of the Wailers and how certainly those three were treated by the police, by the, you know, system because of their perceived power of or heroism amongst the quote unquote people. So as I'm listening to his reasoning, it came up into my mind that it's not simply that he would be upsetting the dancehall industry. He would really be upsetting the whole political industry on both sides, because they don't want a person to arise, a folk hero, quote unquote, to arise that at some point he tipped the scale because, you know, what he says is of such import to that class
Control.
of people.
It's about control, you
It's
know?
about control. So some element, maybe an alignment of elements, dancehall industry, the police industry, and the elites are aligned, you know, in this case of him, you know, so it becomes very, you know, there's a technical case, but there definitely is a influence peddling case. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, cut down this guy's influence, because even now, you know, the fear is about him coming out. What kind of influence? Not simply like what he's going to, him going to sing more music or whatever, but what kind of influence is he gonna have now coming out? You know,
Well,
like,
we're not sure that he's coming out. We don't, that's another process.
well,
But what we're sure about is control is a big part of the whole game, because I believe, if my memory serves me right, there was an incident whereby Dudus send go call him and refused to go, while other artists run go down at Tivoli go give Dudus money. He refused to go.
Yeah, even that, you know?
And that is a that you have it take balls to do that in that space at that time. You know, which show you that there's an independent streak to this man. So, next question: was justice served? Was justice served?
Legally, yes.
No,
Tell
what I
me some
mean
more.
is, what you mean? You have to clarify here. Patrick say yes.
Yeah.
Which
Legally,
justice?
legally,
Which
yes.
justice? Which justice? The
Who-
Privy Council
It's like
justice?
who's justice now?
Yeah, whose justice?
We're talking about
Yeah.
one justice, Vybz Kartel justice. Did
Well,
he
Yeah,
it's
get
definitely.
The answer is yes. If it's
He got what he sought from the Privy Council.
but is
correct.
What's the
So-
question, Mikey? I didn't hear it.
So if he got what he sought from the Privy Council, then as far
was
as
was
Vybz Kartel
justice
is concerned, that's justice.
Well, based on the justice where them live at Jamaica, or the Privy Council, whatever. Justice seems to be served in that case, you know. But and the whole thing I say, well, Lizard, you have a man dead, you know, and him family might say justice not served, you know, but everything, you know, as John said, justice to who, you know.
But me not see how come you said just and I think they finished play out yet.
Oh, you
What-
mean not finish
what-
play out, Neita?
It not finished play out yet because him still in custody. He's still in
Neita.
custody, you know. Me not see
Why
what-
would Neita?
You know, hear somebody say, "If you send," me listen to him lawyer for about half an hour or more.
Yeah.
From one of them program. And the thing is that you have papers if you come back from England, and apparently it must have to take the boat and come. You know,
Yeah.
zoom in.
Yeah.
So it might take a while. And then it up to the court of Jamaica. Because so far, right now, the court is, well, Sister Maxine might know more than me.
Exactly.
It go back to the court of Jamaica. They must
They
decide
have to
whether they
decide
do the case.
where
If they must
to
try it
yeah,
again or they
try
must
it
free.
again. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. So the justice, how justice
Try it
could be
again
done.
is almost impossible, realistically.
you might take on this now.
Trust me.
Yeah.
But when you ask was justice served,
What is justice? Yeah.
it depends
Tell us
on what you call justice. Because if it's justice, just if you call it the thing justice because the case was squashed, yes, justice, there's some kind of justice there because they're trying to right a wrong that was done in the case itself,
on that level there.
right? But overall, when you look at the system,
Yeah.
for justice to be served for the people of the country want to know that when something go before the courts,
Yeah.
it is being judged with fairness for
Yeah.
all people. And even though Vybz Kartel and whoever is with him are going to get some form of justice in that it are going to right the wrong of them privacy breach and the breaches, whatever breaches that occurred in the case up to now,
Okay.
right? But overall, it not serve. There was no justice served because
That's it.
because when you look on it, the
A
whole
man dead.
not just that, the whole confidence for justice, justice. Remember, justice must not just be done, but it must appear
Yeah.
to be done. And,
Yeah.
and when the people of Jamaica look at me and you and the rest of people of Jamaica, look at a case like this, we see that the system is more unjust
Yes.
than just.
Yeah.
Because it a show corruption right
Corruption.
up to the top of the judiciary.
Exactly.
We all know that last, but at the same time,
Give me a
based
chance,
on the
Patrick.
question, the question where Mikey asked, right? About if justice is served.
Yeah.
Right? The only way you can look at that is on a case-by-case basis. Because we already know the situation with the system and where the system stands for justice.
Yeah.
Right? So in terms of justice being served, you can only look at it in terms of case by case. And like you said, right? In terms of Kartel taking his case to the Privy Council, he got what he sought. He got what he sought. It was ruled in his favor. So as far as the Vybz Kartel is concerned, justice was served for him in that regard.
But we can't look on it only in a narrow sense, Patrick, because people in Jamaica, me and you and people in Jamaica have an expectation to believe that we can get justice from the courts in Jamaica, right?
No,
And
I don't have that belief.
You don't have that belief?
No.
A lot of people in Jamaica have that belief.
I know that.
And that is why the courts are there.
I know that.
And that is why the courts are there. So if coming out of this case, it create more doubt in a people's mind that them can really get justice from the system, right? One, if them not have money, and if them not have influence, who can influence jurors, because it don't take ordinary people to go in at the courts and go stand up and talk to a juror and influence him.
But it is also a fallacy to believe that you can have as much money as the system to take it on.
you don't have to have as much money in the system to take it on. There's always weak points in the system where you can
So
reach
then
to.
it's not money then.
Of course, it's money.
You see, again, you're saying two things, right? Because you're talking about it being money, but at the same time, right, I'm saying that if it's in terms of you having money, you cannot have the amount of money for go up against the system necessarily for beat them.
That's why you have
Right?
so much
If it's
murder.
about money.
No,
Right?
it's not
Because
about
you
beating
They
the
just
system.
kill you.
You have people who have spent enormous amount of money, right, on lawyers, right, on legal procedures and all of that, and still end up losing.
But think about it,
But
Patrick.
that's the exception,
Realistically,
gentlemen. Gentlemen, we cannot use the exception to prove the truth.
But we can't prove there's
exception-
money either.
No, but it's not one thing, Patrick. Money is one factor. Good God.
Big factor.
Yeah, big factor. Where you going to hire a lawyer without money? Where you going to send that go to privy council without money? Even
that's
to
a-
go to
That's a
Supreme
different-
Court.
that's
You
a
have to
different.
have money.
But that's a different argument. That's a different
No,
argument.
all I'm saying, that is being said. In a capitalist system such as what we have, money is the biggest factor because that's what you use to hire a good lawyer.
We know that. We know that money is king in the
Okay.
capitalist society. We know
Having
that.
said that, it does not mean that everybody who have money necessarily get away. That's not the point. The fact
Right.
that you can buy expensive car don't mean you can't crash.
That's absolutely true.
So
That's
we are
absolutely
only saying why we're beating this like a dead. I think we run out of time.
No,
Mr.
because
Chairman, instead
no,
of
no.
trying to beat a dead horse.
No. We're not into
John,
the chairman
John.
thing, you know.
Want to
Yeah,
make
let's
the,
get out of that
want to
framework.
the lawyer we were supposed to have. Because
Yeah, but
we have past layman
What-
knowledge.
yeah, I
just
was about to go into murder.
just
Murder
a
for
minute.
hire.
Russ.
Yeah.
You want to say something? Yeah. what
No,
you say?
me never hear John say much about this cartel thing, you know. Me no hear mention as if him have any opinion either way.
No, before you came, as you came, I was talking.
Sorry about that then.
No, man, no problem.
You see, the thing, you know, is the question is for each party, what is justice? You know, what is really justice? Because
Neita, sorry for interrupt, but as a John said, justice, me look on it, justice is like justice was served.
okay,
Because that's how the system set up that justice
Set
was
up.
served. So justice was served. You know? The appearance of it is there.
okay,
Right? And most time it not be serving, it just have to appear. That's how the system run. And this time it seems to appear that it has been served because let them try the case again. If them feel said justice wasn't served. You know,
And
What
try,
about
and
the
try,
DPP?
and try it by the rules.
What
and try
about
it by
the
the rules.
DPP? The DPP was described in the. She attended the case, right?
Yeah.
she attended the trial. Yeah.
What?
So far, I haven't heard anything from her.
No, yeah, but they were describing her in the commentaries that have been going on. Not in a good manner either. Like they were saying, why was she there? But they had a critique of her that was I don't remember it, but it wasn't flattering at all.
And then people are saying no, since the Privy Council decision, they haven't seen or heard anything. When she was like a public person, she always up and front in every, you know. And now she gone silent. Well, yes, she will because she lost that case.
So are you
Well,
saying that they're actually waiting on documents now to come in from England?
Yeah, that's what his
officially?
lawyer said. His lawyer said that
Okay.
the court of England have to send it. That him lawyer said people say him apply for bail. Him say he does that yet. Him have to follow the procedure. When it come back to court, the Privy Council have to take the decision. Or the appeal court of Jamaica. Yeah, I think it's the appeal court. Have to take the decision what to do with the case. Whether to try it again and or whether for free him. If them decide to try it again, then he will apply for bail or because so far now he's an innocent man in court in incarceration.
and that going to be another issue if they try, because everybody in Jamaica know of this case. Where can they find an objective jury unless they're going to fly people? And even if they bring people from Grand Cayman, where they going to
Then
find
that time
someone?
you know the system I go off for him.
So you see the dilemma we face because
Yeah, but
we
you
can-
don't know if the reason is to do with the jury selection, why it was squashed. This is why we need an attorney, because there are many factors.
no, it was squashed because of the procedure the judge
Correct.
adopted.
Right. That's one of the reasons. All I'm saying is, instead of beating a dead horse, trying to figure out how it going to go, how them going
No.
to deal with it. It is a victory for Vybz.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is
big
that
victory.
big,
Because
big,
what it
yeah.
say is that whatever happened to you, first of all, him done serve 10 years for wrong without proper court. That is that's like a credit to him. Him already serve a certain amount of time. When them going to retry, them have to take account of the fact that the man served 10 years already.
Yeah.
To me, any trial over is a victory. Because whatever you did do, why it gets squashed, you can't do the same thing over again. Then there is a case of dual, we call it, when you try for the same crime 2 times and all kind of different. I am
Double
not a
jeopardy.
lawyer.
Double
Yeah,
jeopardy.
I don't want to, that's why we need the lawyer lady to come and to answer that question.
I can't say double jeopardy.
No, that's a different.
Maybe she can't come because isn't she gonna be in the court? She probably is prescribed.
No, she's in a
speak.
she's in a conference in Montego.
No, I'm saying if she's going to be active before the court, she has to be very careful what she says to
What
us
she come on any public show and talk about.
and talk about.
Yeah.
So that may be.
Yeah.
You know.
But
Yeah,
So all that too, I don't know how she agreed to come because she was the attorney from the case.
it don't
was
matter.
overturned.
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
not have
but-
anything. That not have anything to do with it.
I have nothing to do with it because Bert Samuel
I mean,
is on
Yeah, the
on-
attorneys have been speaking generally. So
they've
she
been-
probably
yeah.
has a line that she wants to
Yeah.
push
Well,
for.
Anyway, speculation. We don't know.
Speculation. Anyway, do we have time to touch on one topic, the new commissioner of police?
Whoever
Yeah.
know about that.
Well, I saw that he was chosen from 4 deputies.
yeah.
He was one of 4, and that his focus was the development of the force and something to do with logistics.
And intelligence.
IT. He's
Yeah.
Huh?
them credit him with like improving the use information technology. in the field.
Technology
IT.
and right.
But that was
IT guy.
That was surprising to me because you had the guy who in charge of CTAC who has made who has been having a lot of success, with CTAC.
What is CTAC?
He was a deputy.
Yes, he was a deputy commissioner.
What is CTAC?
That's the
Intelligence.
them in charge of the crime
Oh,
portfolio and intelligence and all of that stuff.
okay.
They were the ones who brought the case against the Klansman and
Okay.
all of that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And these guys are the regular in the street crime fighting, daily crime fighting, and they gave a guy who joined the force through academics
Mhm.
and got up in the ranks through academics, had no policing background at all.
So does that make him that rule him out from
Eh?
becoming the commissioner?
No, that's the one who is the commissioner.
Yeah, you make it sound like, because of his background.
No, but you would have thought that they would have given.
Where's the Jamaican Mark Rich that? When
Yeah,
Mark what? Shield?
Mark Shields.
Yeah, Mark Shield. Yeah, I'm gonna get
You
Mark
that-
Rich from. Well, him get rich anyhow.
You'd have thought that because of the crime situation as it is, you want somebody with more practical and strategic experience, fighting crime.
Well, I wouldn't go in that direction. No, Jamaican police need a radical change. And if this man can come, it doesn't look like he's tainted by the corruption in the force. He seems to be a clean Christian guy. No.
Neita,
What that mean?
hold on, Neita.
I don't want
Take
old
that
Rasta
back.
guy.
Take that back.
Let me finish. Him seeing that within the Jamaican context,
Jesus
like
Christ.
him seems like him clean. You
What
understand?
that mean?
Because
You
he's a
know-
Christian.
No, because I'm a Christian, but me I say him
Why
don't
is
look
that?
like him don't look like him mix up in the mess.
Yeah, he's a doctor. He's a doctor, Kevin Blake.
Yeah, so
Ellington,
That he have a PhD.
no,
Ellington never looked like he mix up in a nothing either.
Yeah, I know, man. I joke here, man. What people know Ellington when him go there up a man, coming up a man up at New York here, we start freak out. You understand me? But this brethren here seem to be a clean, and not a clean brethren. But not only that, him from Olympic Garden, and it's a radical change from the former police commissioner, because most of them are some man from the country and come in a town and want, brutalize people. I say that to say because of Francis Vybz. Vybz was one of the better police commissioners. I'm not beside this, but he's a man who interact with the
You
community.
think so? You think Sam was one of the better ones?
I think so, yes. What do you think?
Me not believe it. I don't think so. Francis Vybz was one of the better police commissioners, in my view.
No? Why you say that? Because he never...
No, well, based on what me know of him and him connection to criminals in the community, me not see him as a better cops. Probably people see him as better commissioner for different reasons, but
Okay.
him I don't know if Dad remembers say him bar was a congregation point for criminal. When bar up at the top of East Avenue name. I remember, you remember him bar name, Dad, up at the top of East Avenue there?
What's his first name? Blake?
Francis Vybz.
No, Kevin Blake or
Yeah, Kevin Blake,
different-
Dr. Kevin Blake.
all right. Now
Nah,
try to find
yeah,
something about
retard.
him. Kevin
Yeah.
Blake.
Yeah, him seem to be... And if him can come in, and bring some reform to the police, then that's a far away. I hope that one thing I hope him pursue is peace. New commissioner, where him start talk about building peace at the community level, rather than pumping a whole pack military man at the community,
Well,
Those are some of the things I would love to see.
we have to wait and see, because, it's hard for judge them based on what them religion or them, how them
Man,
dress
he's a
or
clean
how
Christian,
them.
man. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
It's hard.
Well, he
So,
seems, just glancing
Yeah,
at
we-
it, he seems He's coming from he's not coming from any rapport with the
Having
streets.
some issues with my feed there.
No,
No
he's
problem.
not coming from any rapport with the streets or even you know, like how they say you'd be a rank and file
Yeah, that he
officer,
wasn't up.
so you come up, you know,
He never came up through the ranks.
through the ranks, right? It just seems that he came through his
He's,
IT
yeah, he joined as probably like at some level like
logistics. Yeah,
superintendent or some. He joined at some rank like that
yeah,
in the
yeah. So I
force.
just looked at it and I saw that he's
So
maybe they're offering him as a filter, you know, because he's not.
Michael, me not hear right at all. Maybe on my
He
side.
probably it would be probably more interesting to look at who are the deputies under him.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it doesn't have this on the website. It only have his position, Deputy Commissioner, Force Development and Logistics Portfolio. And it says here, holds a PhD in Sustainable Development, a Master of Science in Computer-Based Management Information System, bachelor's degree with honors in Computer Science and Mathematics from the University of the West Indies. He's also awarded for research excellence at UWI. So one thing him have is education, only a degree. So we never have anybody like that before.
No, we have
The man is a clean Christian.
we have PhD, commissioner with PhD before. We did.
Yeah, but it's the first
Yeah,
time we have a,
so-
first time we have a
Front to
clean
farms.
Christian.
I just want to know whether these qualifications mean that we, whether we think that this is
What
new.
was the major points against the guy that just leaving now, the Anderson one? What was his major fault lines?
He was not a clean Christian.
No, but what was he? He was in the army or something like that.
All Christian are clean, man.
Yeah.
So we had a
I
couple
think-
of them come from the army, right?
I
Yeah,
think he was
we have
two
had several
successive.
from the army.
I think
Okay,
he
so
was
the army
70,
thing don't work.
70 Adventist. I think he is 70 Adventist. Just like
This
Oldness.
guy's a Seventh-day Adventist.
I'm not sure. It's interesting to see because I
Then
know the
the
Prime
governor
Minister likes
general,
to
the prime
control.
minister, and the
The
Seventh-day
commissioner,
Adventist.
yeah, they are 70 Adventists, and this guy, as I say, this one look like a clean Christian brethren, Which so
Oh, Mikey.
Remember,
can-
you're being,
That's a big
Hey,
Neita.
difference.
you're
Yeah.
on recording.
yeah, no
Remember,
problem.
the people can hear you.
Yeah, then I must speak my truth. You understand me? Because Mark, we feel it now. We see both commissioner of police and it's more brutality. So if we can get someone who can
Neita.
change that, then we welcome it. Go ahead, my brother, brethren. You know, I'm not else to say.
Michael,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not to hear you too proper,
May I hear you?
Maybe I'm from my end, You hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we hearing you good.
Yeah, But I miss out on a lot of the convo about the commissioner,
Yeah.
Not to hear, that's
Next
just
time,
more.
what happened?
But Michael,
Yeah.
I think he said I mentioned something about your neighbor, Atty.
I don't know what to say about Atty. It's chaos. It's chaos. It's like the mental patient
Where we don't want to be.
take over the hospital. It's like the gangster them control the prince.
Oh
So
boy, the rough situation.
what can we say? The troops, people are still crying out for security. I heard a woman yesterday on Ratigan program, and that's what she's talking about, security, so that they can continue the work that they are doing, And I'm not sure what CARICOM gonna do. You know, African Union, you know, them going to part out African Union and go in. How will that impact Jamaica? Oh, you know, we don't know. It's a period of uncertainty right now. So, what do you think, Ross, about 80?
I say better make the gang control it, you know. It's shocking to say that, you know.
Why you say that?
You know, it's shocking to say that, but I have to reach out of the box now. Because 80 have 120 years independence and 40 odd years right foreign troops up on the side. What you think another foreign troops are going to do now?
But it's
Jamaica,
not that.
Kenya, US.
The,
Eh?
the guy, we're talking
Well,
about
that's a
commissioner of police, and this guy, Jimmy Barbecue Chezier, is a former police officer
Yeah,
whose gang rules vast swaths of Port-au-Prince.
yeah.
So he has some information based on his role in the police. Yeah, I guess it might be like a Vybz Kartel situation over there.
Oh man, no, I
eh,
don't think.
No, I'm just saying we're the folk heroes, the people who are, what would you consider these gang leaders to be vis-a-vis the politicians coming out of the known political hierarchies. This is a different hierarchy coming out of the which is generally, I guess, when you have a coup d'etat, is usually someone coming out of the security. Is either the generals or in this case, I'm looking at the police. So I'm saying when the politicians are moved, it's generally something coming out of the security side of things.
Yeah, I would only make one addition,
Okay.
right? There's a history of intervention, covert and overt intervention by the US in Haiti. I watched, I always feel whenever there is something unstable, especially in this hemisphere, whose hand is at work?
Yeah.
Underground. The recent CARICOM meeting seemed to have a division between the US State Department and the rest of CARICOM, or some of the CARICOM leadership, as to how it should go, what to set up. Secondly, the years of independence in Haiti do not explain the absence of basic structures that make for a stable government. One of them is a police force. Another one is a civil service. These things don't exist in Haiti. And the reason is because of the long years of despotic rule. Papa Doc's son, the United States intervene and overthrow the governments that the people have wanted, or ask them to resign. And they went, I think the last guy who came through Jamaica or went to South Africa, I can't remember. It's so, yeah, it's so many different, you know. But we should,
But
I only suggest
this brethren is calling for a revolution.
Who is that?
the
Barbecue.
gang.
They're saying that now
Yeah,
our
the gang.
fight will enter. No, the police barbecue. He says our fight will enter another phase to overthrow the whole system.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to him. I mean, him have power because him have the guns. And what is what is it that they're going to do? They're either going to bring in some kind of acceptable force, meaning force with guns, to control that that guy, barbecue.
Why, John?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you. Obviously, there is a thought. There is a view. If he's regarded as someone that is threatening the status quo, they're going to try and prevent him from exercising any influence. And that's what I'm not sure about. I don't know enough to I know him have power because him unite the gangs and him have guns. When you have guns in a country that don't have nobody else have gun with you, you run things. So my recommendation, gentlemen, is 6 o'clock. 2 minutes to 6. We may be lucky to be able to finish early, and that we look at Al Jazeera or YouTube. YouTube has very good information on this recent CARICOM meeting. I don't know if it's still meeting, but the problem is the history as well as the current state of affairs. You and I know in an unstable place like that, drugs is king, weaponry is king, and that's how it stayed here right now. It's very difficult to determine how that going to go forward, you know. I don't have enough information to know what this guy is in terms of his orientation, but obviously the middle class is terrified.
John, let me fill in. Him that one Duvalier. Him that pass Papa Dakar, baby that guy.
From that time?
Him that pass Duvalier, you know. You remember that
military.
Yeah, but
here?
I mean, everybody, at one time, everybody was past that, you know, for all sense and purpose.
Everybody had come from somewhere.
Eh?
You see, everyone had come from somewhere. Where am they know, you know?
Yeah.
John,
So
other than
I'm looking at that on YouTube along with the Middle East situation. But so Neita, I move that we adjourn the meeting.
I need to remind you, we're not having a branch meeting.
No. This is not to do with branch.
No. You move to adjourn and chairman and all that.
Because you have 5:59.
No. I agree with you totally that we need to turn, you know. So on that note, I want to thank the many listeners who stayed with us and listened to us rambling on. I hope you learned something. I want to thank the Russ. Russ, you're an observer of life, you know, and I would like to have you here more often.
No, yeah,
More often, you
anything
know,
go Neita, man. There, man.
to bring the Rasta view. You understand me?
Glad to see you, Rasta man.
I think you need to
There
get
no last.
You need a
Alright.
Me see
computer,
your
though. You
picture on
can't use a
another
phone.
forum yesterday, you know?
Yeah. Hold on, gentlemen.
Yeah, me see your picture yesterday on another forum.
Yeah, Leroy. Just you need to bring a computer. I think what happens is that you bring the phone. It now go work on the phone. Don't it go and come on the phone?
All right. Well, we can keep the instruction after. Just a minute. Let me end. So I'm asking and urging the listeners, you know, to share this episode with your friends and also subscribe to Waterhouse Vibes because, Mark, you know, we are the only place where you can express yourself. We don't shout at each other. We don't do that. We are very, you know, we are very reasoning how we do things. You understand? So until next Sunday, Walk good, stay strong, and avoid trouble. One
Take
love.
care.
Bless.
Take care.